and gents. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Heather Perkins, and I am the owner of along with my husband Sam, whom if you have not had a chance to get to know yet, I feel very confident you will in the upcoming future. So with that said, over the last 10 years, Sam and I have built something that's pretty special, so we're really proud of. We have the largest in-stock boutique quality scarf collection in the Midwest, and we also have a really fun kids line. However, we've vended those items at high-end trade shows throughout the Midwest, and I'm not going to get into all of that. That's what the point of this video is about. We've had a lot of fun doing it. We've had a great staff. We feel like it's become family, and because the money has been so great, because the camaraderie, because of our customers, we've kept doing it, and we have earned our way up to being some of the largest booths at some of the highest-end trade shows in the Midwest. And again, we sell a lot of products in a short period of time, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been awesome. So that's why I made an announcement today to my friends and family. I've got a lot of shock, and so now I'm making a kind of an announcement here a little more publicly. But with that said, we decided at the end of last year, through some pretty tough events that happened throughout the last couple of years, but the final straw was, and again, this is probably more information than you want to know, but it was in August of this last year. We're on day 3 of an 11-day trade show, which typically had grossed us right around $65,000 those days. So it's a really important show, but I began miscarrying again. So you go into a show pregnant, feeling like life is good and your family's expanding, and it was actually my second since we've been working. And so I put on my big girl panties and I led my team with a big smile on my face, but inside I was dying. We were working too hard, I was carrying too much, we were doing too much. And so it was actually, unfortunately, it was what it took for my husband and I to go, gosh, we love this, the money is great, we don't know what else we're gonna do in the future, but it made us get off of that treadmill. And so what we did is we took a big step out in faith and we didn't re-sign a single show. And so, but we're entering January, we're going, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do when I grow up? So with that said, my husband got a real job, and so he's been there for a little bit, and that's a lot of fun. We've been home every night since January, which I love. I'm very happy to say that I am now pregnant again, and I'm just entering my second trimester, so again, super excited about that. But I didn't know what I was gonna do. So Sam has a new job, I'm trying to figure it out, and I got invited to 2 Facebook parties in January for LuLaRoe, and I was like, what is this crazy stuff? And as it turns out, I ended up out of curiosity going to a home party, and I tried on some of the clothing and I just felt so beautiful. Sounds really strange, but I fell in love with scarves and wanted to start a scarf business because I loved how it made other women feel. I love when they stood a couple inches taller, when I taught them how to wear them, and I took a tone and hair match for color matching to be appropriate color for them. I loved how they felt so pretty and stood really tall in the mirror. And here I was years later, and I was the one standing a little tall in the mirror, and I felt so pretty. So I came home and I was like, Sam, I know who buys these crazy clothes. It's me. It's people like me. Even plain Janes can enjoy it. So with that said, March 8th of this year, my husband and I made a choice to become one of the newest consultants in LuLaRoe. They call it Join the Movement. So we have decided to join the movement. So for those of you who are LuLaRoe addicts and have experienced anything similar, I just invite you on this journey with me. So there's been something that's been really, really powerful that I thought that I might share with you that might be of help if you are on the verge of wondering if this is something that might be good for you. So I'm going to dive right in. So having had our own business, blessing and a curse, it was a blessing because we have a lot of things that we have learned the hard way and knew were things we were looking for, but a curse also because it also ruled out a lot of things that made it so we're thinking, oh my gosh, we're ever going to find something that we really love to do. And so with that said, we would have people over time throughout our 10 years in business, people come up to us and say, hey, I'm thinking of switching my product, or I'm thinking of adding this, what do you think about that? And we were really lucky to have had 2 different products that stood the test of time, and that people continued to buy and continued to have growth in sales over the years. And usually with products, you have to switch those out fairly regularly. So one of our biggest tests was, is the item that you're wanting to add or item you're wanting to carry something that is going to be appealing to, or that be something that at least 90% of people are going to want to buy. With scarves, that was kind of a no-brainer, as if people don't love to wear them with outfits, or don't feel confident about wearing those with fashion, although that was a huge market that loved that, everyone gets cold in the winter. And so that's something that even if you're just doing it for practical, it was a really great market for us. And of course, I was able to change my colors out through the seasons, and of course the styles based on what was most popular at that time. So if you're selling nose rings, for an example, maybe that might be a great fun product to sell, but maybe a little more of a niche market, and maybe not something that 90% of people would buy to be able to create the excitement and create and sell the numbers that you would need to. So that's one thing. When I ended up going to this party, I thought that LuLaRoe sold leggings, and I love leggings. So I went and I checked it out, and I'm sitting here looking at rack after rack of dresses and maxi skirts, and I was blown away. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I have some women at shows that might buy 6, 7, 8 scarves because they're getting them for different outfits, or they're getting them for gifts for the holidays. I left with 8 pieces. I left with 4 full outfits. And I had no idea. So again, that was a much higher average sale than I had ever had with scarves. I mean, I spent almost $300. So again, my husband comes on home, and when I said what I spent, he said, you bought that much money in leggings? I was like, no, it's so much more. And so all of a sudden, when I was seeing my wardrobe expand, and I was seeing how versatile the different items were, that definitely passed that first test. So again, that's one thing that you're gonna love, is no matter if and that's what I loved about scarves, is they were one size fits all. Even though our items are not, LuLaRoe items are not one size fits all, we have items to fit women who are self-conscious because they're so tiny and they're extra small, all the way up to 3X. And again, I work with those women at the trade shows every single day, and I saw this beauty in them, but I saw how they had a hard time shopping for themselves. And anyway, so that's one thing that I just want to tell you about, is this a huge blessing, is that it's not going to fit that tiny little person. It's not going to fit just the big girls and big and curvy like me. It fits all of us, and that's one thing I was super excited about and I love so much. The next thing I absolutely loved, and I think that a lot of people might look at this and go, I don't know how I feel about this, but I can tell you it's a blessing. Oh my gosh, is it a blessing? LuLaRoe, I'm sure you already know, creates different patterns, but they make very limited quantities, and so they only make, I think it's 2,750, like 2,750 pieces per pattern. So if I'm wearing a medium and a maxi skirt, for example, then I might get certain patterns, but the next person is not. That's fantastic because again, that's fantastic because we're all going to carry such different merchandise. And so if you sell different products with different direct sales, everyone's going to have a catalog. And so if you sell the same thing as a woman down the street, then you're going to be basically competing for the same customers. Where I have to tell you, I haven't even bonded yet, and I have bought from I purchased from my gosh, probably about 10 different consultants, and it's just great because they all carry such different things. And so you might not have the exact same customers all the time, but you're going to have people who do shop, and they're going to keep coming back to you because they love you, but they're also going to come back to you because your inventory is always fresh and always new. So that's one thing. The next thing I absolutely love, which was meaning to be my point a minute ago, but I jumped ahead, is the fact that you do not get to choose your patterns. I am such a plain Jane. My first dress was a Nicole, it was black. My first Lindsay was a black and white striped cardigan. My third item was a Julia, and that was gray. So again, plain Jane. But my point is I buy very simple. Even with the scarves that I select and I wear at the trade shows, I would always pick very neutral and scarves I felt pretty in. However, I purchased scarves. We had the largest collection, so at any given period of time, I had over 1,000 different choices. What that meant was it took me months. It took me about $10,000 per year to order samples from tons of different companies, to weed out the bad product, to get the diversity and the variety. But I would order patterns and different types of scarves that maybe didn't appeal to me, but they would end up being some of my best sellers. So I mean, just because I don't want to have a Marilyn Monroe around my neck, I had women who just loved it, or teenagers who just loved it. And so my point is I would spend so much money getting all that variety, then I'd scratch my head and I'd wake up and I'd second guess myself, and I would have literally scarves and samples all over my home. It was crazy. I'm so glad I have a patient husband. But so when you don't have to choose your patterns and you get them selected to you, you literally choose the sizes that you want, the styles that you want, you have them shipped to you, and it's like a fun Christmas every single time. I'm telling you, if you see patterns and they come out of the box, one of the very first scarves I ever sold, it was one that when I pulled it out, it was like, who is gonna buy this? And I had hired a woman from Craigslist whom it turned out to be just amazing. But she pulled this color out, and it was like a like a cobalt color with a fuchsia around the edge. And she gathered it and held it up to a woman's face. And this woman, it brought great color to her face, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. So again, it'd pull out the ruddiness in my skin, but for her, it was just amazing. So she held up the mirror to this woman, she stood taller, and I saw the vision. I saw, wow, it's amazing that different things are for different people and how important that is to have that variety. And so when that scarf ended up being what I thought was just awful, again, because it wasn't my taste, it ended up being the very first scarf to sell out. So even if you have patterns that you pull out and go, who's gonna get this? There is someone that's going to get that, and it's going to make it so your selection looks huge and you have so much more variety. So again, huge, huge, huge blessing. So don't feel discouraged by that. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about that's a really big bonus is the fact that the company takes care of your sales tax. We initially were quarterly with sales taxes, and then because our volume was so big, we were switched to monthly. And I can tell you this, with me being the photographer, the buyer, the designer, the everything, the merchandiser, the staffer, the hiring manager, the trainer, getting sales taxes done once a month ended up being more of a nightmare that I can tell you. That is one hat I did not enjoy. So when you do that type of volume, which you will, I'm telling you that you're gonna love that you don't have to do that paperwork every single month. The company completely takes it off your plate, and that is huge. So that's one less thing you have to do. A lot of people have expressed a little bit of concern that there's a lot of people selling LuLaRoe. And that's another thing I want to tell you. That's a good thing. That is such a good thing. I cannot tell you how many other scarf booths there were at some of the trade shows we were at. You cannot go to any store in any mall and not see a scarf. So here we were at the different high-end trade shows with tons of competition, people marking their stuff down, and we ended up doing at those shows. Again, each year we did better and better and better. So we had a lot of loyal followers, people who loved us because of our customer service. We taught you how to wear them. We matched for skin tone, hair color, as I was mentioning. But with that said, exposure makes it so people realize that it's a popular item. People know, oh gosh, that's not just for me, or that's not for somebody else. It inspire people to purchase them as gifts. So the more exposure, the more people see it, the better it's going to be for you. So that's just a really, really good thing. Let's see. As far as competition, as far as there being too many consultants, that's another thing I wanted to let you know. And I don't want to throw numbers out there because I've seen or heard a lot of them, and I also don't want to exaggerate. But I saw some numbers recently that Jamberry has anywhere between 80 and like 90,000 consultants, and they still do well. I just bought my first Jamberry, of course, plain Jane. I bought solids, so that should be arriving this week. But there's many, as far as Mary Kay, I heard a number like 1.3 million Mary Kay consultants out there, and again, they still do well. There are, I have multiple friends who sell doTERRA, and again, great, great, great products, and they do great for the home. But again, there's a lot of consultants. So just remember that because we have such a huge ability to carry such different items, not only different styles, but different colors, just remember that if you have another consultant, even right down the road with you, you can work in cooperation with one another for both of your businesses to be that much larger, because people are gonna shop around. You just want them to shop with you. So help people point in directions of different consultants that you wanna shop with instead of being threatened by them. Again, cooperation is gonna be great for everyone. The last thing I wanted to tell you about, and I could go on, but is the fact that LuLaRoe is changing. They are already in the couple of months that I've been in the queue, there have been so many different things that have been implemented, and don't be afraid of change. Change means the company is not going to be a dinosaur. Dinosaurs grow old and die. Companies that are willing to listen to the consultants, that are willing to see what's happening in the market, they're willing to see what styles are coming out, those are the companies that stay around. And so I'm really excited. I feel really confident that that's what LuLaRoe is doing. So if for example, leggings don't happen to be popular in the future, they're not going to continue to carry leggings. They've already discontinued styles that maybe are not as good as sellers or as current, I guess, of fashion. And so they're going to continue to stay ahead of those trends and be on top of that. So when I spent all this time hoping I would make sure that I was guessing the trend that was coming from the forward season, I got really lucky with that. Each year I was anxious. I'm like, are we putting tens of thousands of dollars into product and it's going to sit there? So that's the case, not the case with LuLaRoe. They're doing that for us so that we might be able to do what we're best at. And what are we best at? We're best at sharing and having fun with our customers and just sharing the clothing and making women feel beautiful. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. My email is lularoeheatherperkins@gmail.com. So if there are any questions that I might be able to answer from you to benefit from some of my experience as a small business owner, if you are wanting to know anything from what steps need to be taken while you're in the queue, how to set yourself up for success, how to utilize your upline, how to best get customers. If you have any questions about what you want your business to look like, or you need someone to help you dream, to bring into focus what you want your business to look like, please feel free to give me a call. I'm very, very, very much of an open book, and I just want the success of everyone who gives us a go. It's been a real life changer for so many, and it's been a real solution to what are we going to do next for us, and I'm so excited about the journey. So I have the benefit of my direct upline, which is Anna Matos. Of course, there's Kendra Pratt, who's on the same team, and they are both queens of Periscope and Facebook Live and that type of LuLaRoe selling. We also have Lisa Later Jones, who is one of the very, very, very few mentors in the company, and she is just one of the queen of in-home pop-ups and of course Facebook sales. And I just so fortunate to benefit from these ladies. So any questions I don't know, I have resources I can go to. If you are interested in joining our team, if you're interested in me being your sponsor, I am only taking 25 people, and I am onboarding or getting consultants. I am sponsoring consultants while I'm in the queue, but I am only taking 25 people just because I want to make sure that I have enough time for everyone. I want to make sure that I'm able to really help people understand their whys and get set up for success, and I wanted to make sure that I'm not spreading myself too thin. So at that point, I'll start building people underneath with other ladies who are interested in building a team. So if they have any questions about that, then like I said, give me a quick email, and we might be able to schedule a time where we might be able to interview one another and see if we are compatible. So thank you so very much. I appreciate your time. I hope you've learned a little bit of something, and thank you for coming on this journey with me. Oh, 1 week is when I onboard. It looks like it's exactly 1 week from today. So that's pretty exciting. So it's been about 2.5 months, and during that time, there's been a really great preparation process. So you can learn from my experience there as well, as it's all very, very fresh. This actually is my dining room. It was my dining room. My husband recently let me gut it and put all the furniture in storage. So I'm moving in mannequins and clothing racks and lights and tables and all kinds of stuff. So it's just kind of a fun adventure. So remember, this is supposed to be fun. So if while you are on this adventure and you're a little bit unsure of yourself, I just want you to know that I believe that it's okay to be unsure. It's also, you get out of things what you put into it. And if you need the beginning for someone to believe in you until you completely believe in yourself, then I'm happy to do that for you. So it's just supposed to be a fun thing, and let's just go on this adventure together. Thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.